In this episode, the legend stops by. Hello and welcome to episode 21 of Real Estate TV. Today we are joined by Ron Marshall. Ron, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your background?
Yeah, all right. I'm one of the sales consultants at O'Brien Real Estate down here in Pakenham. I've been a real estate agent for just over 20 years now.
Nice.
I spent the majority of my career up on the Gold Coast learning about rises and falls of the markets and so forth.
Yep.
And then moved down here about 4 years ago with my family.
Yep.
And stepped straight back into real estate when I got down here.
Fantastic.
It's been phenomenal.
Yep.
Really has.
So you've been in this area for how long? Sorry?
For about 4 years
4
now.
years,
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
So learning all the ins and outs and so forth. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And in today's episode, I thought it would be a great opportunity to sit down with Ron and talk about why it's a good idea to invest in Pakenham.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts?
One of the fastest moving suburbs in the country without a doubt by sales volumes. It's, I look at the growth that's happening in Pakenham at the end of the metro train line.
Yep.
So what you can actually buy in Pakenham compared to what you can buy in the city, that's 500,000 here will buy something absolutely stunning.
Okay.
Same money the city might buy your mailbox.
Yes.
So a lot of people are choosing to make the commute from here to the city via train and so forth, so they can afford to get their foot in the door.
Yep.
Pakenham's driven by first home buyers and investors,
Mm-hmm.
just purely because of affordability. So, I look at the growth that's scheduled for Pakenham, what we've got coming in. I say these are all proposed. There's a proposed a go-kart track, a proposed shooting range.
Yeah.
There's the proposed shopping centre with a cinema to come in down at Carter Year Life. They're looking at East Pakenham, the growth that's going to be happening there.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. They say there's going to be in excess of 7,000 homes. If you work on an average of say 2.8 people per home, that's another 20,000 people coming in over the course of the next few years. So everyone's going to need a home, and that's going to create up to a dozen jobs as well.
Yeah.
So all in all, it's just a great place to be.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So who are you finding are buying these properties? Are they families or more investors? Are they young families?
Yeah, it's a bit of a combination.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of first home buyers being the fact that we're driven a lot by those. Mm-hmm. But for the investors, a lot of mum and dad investors in particular. We are seeing a lot from external, from India, Sri Lanka, and so forth.
Yep.
Not so many of the Chinese in Pakenham at this point.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been absolutely flat out there. It's, open homes that we've been conducting, numbers have picked right up. What we've found is, because the government have released an incentive next year for first home buyers, it's created a spike in our property market.
Yep.
Rather than people waiting for the 1st of January for this grant to kick into place, a lot of people are getting in now because they understand that if they wait, the market will have risen by then. We've already seen rises in the last 6 weeks or so.
Correct.
And that's just going to continue to go. And then once that 1st of January happens, we'll see another spike yet again. So the smart investor is buying now.
I've heard a couple of people now say that the 1st of January specifically is tipped to be quite a booming time.
Absolutely. And as I say, for the smart investors, they know that if you wait until the 1st of January, there's competition. The more competition on the home, the more that drives the price up.
Yep.
So get in now, if you can, to beat the competition.
Yeah, supply and demand, I guess.
Exactly
really.
right, exactly.
Yeah, okay. And those 7,000 new lots out in Pakenham East, I'm in the process of reading through the PSP and I'm trying to become an expert on that area so that I can do a couple of episodes on it. But do you have any sort of premonitions or feelings about what that suburb is going to be about? Is it going to be lots of investors? What do you think it's going to be about?
I think it'll continue the way Pakenham is, which is Pakenham's a third of our market pretty much is investor driven. Yep. So for investors, new homes are obviously of appeal because they've got the full depreciation in on them. It's easy to find a tenant, a good quality tenant, because the better the quality home, the better the quality of the tenant traditionally. There's always exceptions to every rule. The key thing is obviously get good property management on board to protect your investment.
Fantastic. Would you say that in Pakenham, is it an exception to the rule of sort of holding for that 10-year period is where you see the maximum growth? Or
yeah, look, average turnover rate in Pakenham is around that 7 to 8 year mark.
Yep.
Compared to nationally, it is around that 10. What I look at, if you date back to the 1900s, 1910, traditionally Australian real estate doubles every 10 years.
Yep.
So it makes sense if you're going to invest in a high turnover suburb, not one where it's might be one sale sort of here and there. Make it a high turnover suburb. Okay. People want to be here.
A third of the market are investors.
Correct.
A lot of them are first home buyers as well.
Yep.
How many of them are first home buyers again?
I haven't got the figures on exactly how many first home buyers. But obviously, even though first home buyers and investors are typically the ones that are driving our market, those people that are selling then need to buy another home.
Correct.
So obviously your second and your third home buyers they're driven by that first home buyer and investor market. It's, because they'll take their $400,000 to $500,000 that they've just sold with, step up a grade to another quality home, and that might be the other 5 or 6. Then the person that selling that 5 to 6 grade home is often stepping up to the next quality of home. So it's all driven by that bottom area of the market. If that goes, the rest of our market softens.
Yeah. And is there a concern that the 7,000 new homes coming up over the next, I think it's 10 to 15 years it's tipped for, is there a concern that supply will affect the demand and the prices? What are your thoughts on that?
Hard to say.
You don't have a crystal ball?
No.
It's a bit of a stupid question, isn't it?
It's in for a service at the moment.
Yeah.
But one thing, as I say, the Pakenham market, it's just we've consistently got buyers coming. And look, last year was one of the first years that we're actually able to house everyone's demands.
Right.
It's now the demand is outweighing the supply yet again. And so obviously all the new housing coming in, that will assist with it, but it's just continuous turnover. It's going to be more people, more homes, and where there's green, they'll end up putting concrete on it.
It's very true. Very, very true. Thank you so much for coming down. It was great to sit and speak with you. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions, if you feel like we missed something, jump down below in the comments and leave some feedback or ask a question, and one of us will respond to it 100%. But until next time, thank you so much for watching.